So I'm sure by now you all know that the United States is facing yet another
Recession.
What if I told you that the United States will defy all expectations and a recession just isn't gonna happen? In fact, the market is gonna reach a new all-time high very, very soon. They say the best way to stop a fire is to prevent it from igniting in the first place. And it turns out Uncle Sam has a giant fire blanket hidden in his back pocket. Weird guy. People everywhere are losing their minds, panic selling their investments and stuffing money under the mattress. And I ask, why? The US government has got this under control. And in this video, I'm going to tell you how they're going to stop a recession from happening and get the overall market back on track. Now, I hate to be the one to break the bad news to you, but you've been lied to. Governmental bodies, YouTubers, news agencies, all mainstream media is basically lying to you about a coming recession. The chatter online and on the street is that the US economy is slowing, but in reality, it's just lies. It's not real. The current GDP numbers for the United States are still very much positive. Projections show a positive trend for the entire year of 2023 of 1.3%, and even next year is already showing a 1.1% increase too. For a recession to happen this year, GDP numbers would need to go negative this summer. And is that what they're projecting and even looking like? No, GD numbers actually look bloody damn good. It seems the US government has tackled this problem and GDP is not going to be a trigger for a recession. But what about jobs? In a recession, people lose all their jobs, right? Well, I'm sure you've all heard about massive job cuts from big companies around the states. But in total, the non-farm payroll for employment in the US actually rose by over 250,000 jobs in April 2023. Yes, it's not as high as previous numbers, showing there is a general downtrend, but these numbers are still positive and overall pretty damn strong. So ask yourself this, in a recession, do we normally have job growth overall? No, the US government has tackled this one. And as for the unemployment rate, which is the go-to argument here, it's barely changed. It's basically holding steady at a low of 3.4%. That's the lowest it's been for over 50 years. And when we look at these recession calls, there's even more data to debunk these crazy calls. Inflation is a big one that gets thrown around a lot over the last couple of years. Inflation is at an all-time high. Well, is it? Believe it or not, inflation has declined a lot over the last year, down from its peak of 9.1% and now currently riding at 4.9%. A 4% decrease in inflation. And the Fed seems to have learned from lessons from the past because these incremental rate increases haven't really destroyed the stock market, which again, everybody predicted. So don't worry about inflation too much because Jerome Powell and the Fed have clearly got your back, meaning no more skyrocketing egg prices. And of course at this point, I'm only joking.
Stop it.
It seems the US government overall has kind of got this recession under control. The plan is to return to a low inflationary environment, and that's on track. They plan to maintain a strong US labor market, also on track. And before you all get crazy about the enormous US debt pile the US currently has, and the reason for this debt increasing is not Joe Biden replacing laptops.
That's a bunch of malarkey.
It's actually down to governmental spending, which they kind of need to do. But ask yourself this, is debt really a bad thing? Just look what happened during the pandemic. Within a short span of 3 months, we've seen one of the craziest drops in stock market history. And this provided record profits for private businesses, up 11% from the pandemic. The stock market ran like we've never seen before. Everyone was enjoying free cash they got from the government. Seriously, think about it. Back then, life couldn't be better financially. And if the market crashes today, we can just turn on the printer and increase the debt pile, the market will rally, and we'll all get stimulus checks. Now, if you've not caught on yet, I'm taking the absolute Michael Jordan in this video. If you didn't know already, the US government's go-to strategy to get itself out of trouble is to just turn on the money printer and pile up serious amounts of debt. And it's causing a serious problem to the long-term future of the United States economy. And I just spilled some whiskey. Damn, that's a good one. Maybe it's time we admit that these financial wannabes in power are just doing jazz hands to get re-elected in the short term and not care caring for the long-term future of the United States and its economy. The federal printing presses have been burning hotter than a firecracker on the 4th of July. And let's just say it doesn't take a well-educated economist to realize that if this continues, the purchasing power of the dollar will fall faster than Joe Biden on a bicycle. It's a merry-go-round of utter madness where nobody can get off. The system is simply broken, and it's just not the right strategy. You're basically delaying a bubble, a big crash, and the longer it goes on, the bigger the damage will be. The thing is, the US actually needs a market crash. It needs to then assess the damage and learn from how this mess was created. And if it doesn't crash, the bubble will continue to grow, and the damage caused by it could be just irreparable. Short term, the market overall does look quite strong. Earnings are not as bad as people predicted. The jobs market is strong, GDP is up, and believe it or not, I think the Fed is doing an okay job. But as this debt pile continues to grow out of control, the bubble will have to pop eventually. As they keep printing money like there's no tomorrow and ignoring everybody's fears about the world as it stands, we are staring an economical cocktail that's going to taste bitterer than George Soros's socks. Without any real responsibility or budgeting from politicians and people in power, we will continue to see defaults on the table and eventually a big devaluation on the United States dollar. Competition is already coming at the United States dollar, and eventually, if it continues, it will be game over. And the scary thing is, history shows us how these dominoes fall, because the United Kingdom went through the exact same thing when the United States took over as the world's largest economy, and you can compare the two in this video here. Smash the like button on your way out, and thanks for your time.